A couple more. All right. Hello and welcome to the third annual Wege Prize Collaborative Studio presentations. We're thrilled to be back for another year and so very proud of these wonderful high school scholars. My name is Gail DeBryan, and I'm the chair of the Collaborative Design and Master of Arts in Design programs at Kendall College of Art and Design of Ferris State University. And I'm also the Sustainability Officer here at kcad. We're delighted to have you joining us today, and whether you're here on campus or joining us via the live stream. Today, we will observe the power of collaboration as we hear about the creative solutions these students have come up with that address some of the most wicked problems our world is facing. They worked hard and they worked quickly to transform throwaway linear economic systems into one that is regenerative by design, realizing a circular economy that addresses climate change, resource scarcity, and biodiversity loss, while also meeting social critical justice needs. The final deliverables are truly astounding. It's important to recognize our past in order for us to take better steps forward into our future. So before we go any further, I would like to take a moment to acknowledge and thank the original inhabitants and stewards of this land, the people of the Three Fires, the Anishinaabe, the Ojibwe, the Odawa, and the Potawatomi. The Wege Prize High School Collaborative Studio was started 3 years ago with a goal of introducing inspired and creative high school students to collaboratively problem solve. Over the past 2 weeks, these students have explored the world around them, spoken to community leaders, conducted some research, and utilized their transdisciplinary makeup to tackle some of the most wicked and complex problems facing the world today. This workshop would not have been possible without the wonderful guest speakers and educators who helped guide these students through their process and research. Special thanks to Bridget Clark Whitney and Jason Lundberg from Kids Food Basket, Stacy Baer from Friends of GR Parks, David Bukowski and Patrick Parks from Disability Advocates of Kent County, Colin Webster, zoomed in from Scotland from the Ellen MacArthur Foundation, and our alumnus Gabby Gentner. Mark Miller and Kenzie Channing from the Downtown Grand Rapids Inc. group, we already said that, Nathan Chudroff from California College of the Arts, Daniel Wyckoff and Sierra Valencia from KCAD, Bill Stow from Bill Stow LLC, Tom Newhouse from Newhouse Design, Elisa Bond, our very own KCAD Library Director, Dar Boss from the Kent County Board of Public Works, Zoe Carmichael from Carmichael Consulting, Lisa Oliver King from Our Kitchen Table, and the amazing KBO crew right here in the house. Almond Forrester from the John Ball Zoo, Lori Faulkner from the KCAD Fashion Studies program, Stephanie Olgren, Andrea Melvin, and Erin Corin here in the house from the Grand Rapids Public Museum. Nick Carlson from Goodwill Muskegon, Justin Beitzel and Fernando Ramirez from Common Object Studio, and our own Tara McCracken, president of KCAD. Nothing you see here today would be possible without the continued financial support of the Wege Foundation. For over 50 years, the foundation has been planting seeds that develop leaders in economic ecology, health, education, and the arts, while enhancing the lives of people here in West Michigan and around the world. We are beyond grateful for the foundation's leadership and support, and we look forward to the continuing important work of both the Wege Prize Collaborative Studio and the Wege Prize competition in '24 and beyond. I'd also like to thank KCAD and its Wege Center for Sustainable Design for supporting the Wege Prize from the beginning. This program simply would not be possible without the creativity, experience, and perspectives KCAD brings to the table as a College of Art and Design. So just a few more pieces of information before we begin. Be sure to share your support and cheer on these students on social media using a hashtag WegeCollab. Also be sure to connect with us on social media by following Wege Prize on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and by following us on LinkedIn. Today you can also join by connecting with other folks around the world in preparation for the big college Wege Prize competition, which starts, well, I'm going to say now. Why not? It's been an honor and a privilege to work with these amazing students. Their dedication and commitment to bettering the world around us is inspiring. And I know I'm not alone when I say, I can't wait to see the magic they will continue to make going forward. We have a wonderful Q&A team over here, and they're going to respond to the presentations and provide some constructive feedback. We have Tara McCracken, president of KCAD, Bill Stowe, Tom Newhouse, Martha Stackhouse, Elisa Bond, and Kyle Austin. And they have all been helping us along the way. We have 3 teams presenting, and they each have 10 minutes. They've been very good and on time, and they've practiced many times. I'm not even going to time you anymore. You're done. It's going to be great. We're going to begin with the first team, and they've chosen the name Barbies and Ken. And they are going to reimagine wind turbines because, well, somebody forgot to design for disassembly. Come on up.
Hi, we are the Barbies plus Ken. I am Muskan Rakhani, a senior at Forest Hills Eastern High School.
I'm Mindy Wynn, and I'll be a senior at East Kentwood.
I'm Jaslyn Dana, and I'll be a senior at Caledonia High School.
I'm Rael Allen, and I'll be a junior at Potter's House High School.
And I'm Kyan Kay. I'm going to be a senior at Byron Center High School. Have you ever been driving alongside the highway and see wind farms for miles and miles and thought to yourself, I wonder how much one of those wind turbines weighs? Well, I have the answer for you. Wind turbines on average weigh roughly 600,000 pounds, or in more simpler terms, 80,000 chickens. When you think of 80,000 chickens, you think of fields of chickens stretching for miles and miles. Imagine trying to get rid of 80,000 chickens. That's quite a challenging task. Just as challenging as getting rid of wind turbines. However, we have come up with a method to repurpose wind turbines in a unique and innovative way.
First, some background on wind turbines. As most people know, wind turbines create renewable energy. However, they have a 10 to 20 year lifespan. After their lives are over, they have to go somewhere. 96% of wind turbines are recyclable, which leaves 4% as not recyclable. This may seem like a small percentage. However, if you consider the massive size of wind turbines, it adds up to a lot of waste. This 4% is from the blades that are made out of fiberglass, which is not recyclable.
So what's the problem behind these wind turbines? Well, as mentioned before, it's because that these blades contain fiberglass, which is non-recyclable because the process is very labor-intensive and damages the glass fibers, which in turn makes them unusable at the end. And also, when these wind turbine blades end up in the landfills because they're easily disposed that way. And this accumulates to 43 million in landfill waste and 1,658 in Michigan. So how will we solve this? Our solution is to make wind turbines circular by avoiding the landfills and repurposing them. We're going to give them a new purpose by reusing them to build the foundation and structure of pedestrian bridges. We're going to also work in collaboration by handling the framework of these bridges, while other companies will handle the concrete, asphalt, and other materials that go into these bridges.
Building bridges using wind turbines. Reducing cost. On average, it costs $100,000 to cut and grind down wind turbines. By disassembling the wind turbines into bigger pieces instead, it would be less costly. Replacing deficient bridges. In just Michigan alone, 11.2% of bridges are classified as deficient. This means that key components of the bridges are in poor condition. Wind turbines are very strong and heavy-set structures that can be very useful for not only building new bridges, but getting rid of deficient ones. Framework for pedestrian bridges and trails. Framework provides the structure and stability needed to support the weight of the bridges that people are using. Wind turbines will provide the needed framework to hold the weight of pedestrians because they were made to hold the weight of blades and other components while spinning in the wind. Lastly, it is less expensive for bridge companies. This solution is also very beneficial for bridge companies. Bridge companies often have to send bridge pieces to other places, which is very costly. By using the whole wind turbine, it helps prevent having to import bridge pieces and move them to specific places.
So how exactly are these bridges going to be made? Well, first off, we're going to build a support system from the existing poles of the wind turbine blades. We're going to cut up the poles of the wind turbine blades in order to make them as the foundation and support system for the bridges. How are we going to make the framing of the bridge? We're going to repurpose the wind turbine blades, and we're going to use them as a substitute for the steel framing of the current bridges. The blades will be joined together with metal joints to stay connected. We're also going to make sure to add wildlife flower boxes and LED lights on the bridges to make them more of an inviting space, also communal gatherings. So these are some concept drawings, what we drew up of the bridges. The one on the left is your more stereotypical bridge you look at. The blades of the bridge, or the blades, will be used as the steel framework of the bridges or as the substitute of them. The bridge on the right is one that represents kind of like the blue bridge we have downtown and takes inspiration from that. The bridge on the left is another concept design, and then the same with the photo on the right. It's just more conceptual ideas we had. Now the drawing on the left represents how we're going to conjoin the wind turbine blades together, and also how we're going to get them to stick to the foundation of the bridge. So when you have the wind turbines as they connect to the main turbine itself with pre-existing rebar in it. So we're going to use the same concept what are already in the blades and connect those to our foundation. And then with the image on the right, it's more of just conceptual ideas.
So we've acknowledged some challenges we expect to see throughout this project. The first being the difficulty to transport long and heavy blades of the turbines. It's really time consuming and expensive, so to solve this, rather than using standard truck transportation, we plan on using barge and train transportation, which is significantly cheaper in comparison. In terms of difficulty gathering the wind turbines from companies, we look at this more of us doing a service for them by taking the problem off their hands, so they'll no longer need to transport it or worry about disposing of it because we'll be doing that.
So addressing United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. We're addressing Goal 9 and Goal 11. Goal 9 is industry, innovation, and infrastructure. We're going to be addressing that by repairing bridges using innovative designs such as using the wind turbine blades as a steel framework. Goal number 11 is going to be addressed by repurposing wind turbine blades into bridges to create a sustainable solution to the problem of recycling wind turbines, as well as create a good and inviting space for the people of the city.
Our potential impact. Safety. We'll be giving new purpose to the blades by building better and safer bridges in Michigan and replacing the deficient ones. Business appeal and incentive for circulation. We offer a less expensive way to get rid of them because we don't need to grind down the material. This will give incentive to keep the blades in circulation. Circular economy. We are furthering the idea of repurposing and recycling, inspiring other companies to find ways to keep their products out of landfills as well.
Plans for the future. Our plan is to right now deal with the non-recyclable blades that are still made out of fiberglass, and as the first generation wind turbines are reaching their end of their lifespan, we want to keep that in circulation and to also reduce the wind turbine waste. So other companies are working ahead, and the Zebra project is making wind turbine blades out of thermoplastic resin, which is recyclable. And also the company Carbon Rivers are making a wind turbine recycling center. So looking ahead, we want to go towards 100% recyclable wind turbines.
Partnerships. We're going to be partnering with DTE Energy because they're the primary owner of all the wind turbine farms in the state of Michigan. We're also going to be partnering with local, state, and federal governments over jurisdictions on where we can build the bridges and what rules we have to follow. We're also going to be partnering with the Department of Transportation in order to meet their codes on what a bridge has to be.
Our business model. In the future, we hope to achieve a B Corporation and meet the expectations to become certified as a business that meets the highest standards of verified social and environmental performance, public transparency, and legal accountability to balance profit and purpose. Government. We plan to move forward with our mission of finding a purpose for wind turbines' afterlives while keeping a report about everything we do to send to the government every 2 months to stay transparent with our mission. Workers. We hope to create a safe environment for our workers and our partners while collaborating. Community. We will bring economic value by making an income from the money we receive from wind turbine companies to take care of their wind turbines as a whole. Environment. Our plan surrounds towards keeping a circular economy by keeping millions of tons of waste out of landfills to remain sustainable. Customers, the output of our plan is new bridges for everyone to enjoy.
In the future, we envision companies put more thought into the afterlife of their products to avoid the expansion of landfills. So our company in the future won't even be needed anymore.
Thank you.
It's a fascinating story, isn't it? So now the team over here at the tall tables get to pose some questions, some curiosities, and the students are ready to answer.
I have a couple questions.
All right, Tara.
I have a couple questions, and right now I can think of one of them. I had to. So you talked about the bridges. Now I have the second one. You talked about the bridges being like adding to the area's amenities and whatnot, but you also could talk about the bridges encouraging pedestrian traffic and movement and the health and well-being as part of your placemaking story. I think that's fabulous.
Yeah. A little excitement to our walk.
Yes. And then my second question is about the aesthetics, because I'm a designer. So are these bridges the same design and a kit of parts, or is each one custom?
I would say each bridge will be kind of custom for the area. So like if people, like say the city or town wants to have this bridge designed a certain way, we'll design a certain way, and we can add like that LED light fixtures, kind of create it as like an urban art display a little bit at nighttime, kind of like how the Blue Bridge is here.
Fantastic. And I saw all the looks like, and then you just answered. We all have an answer. It's great.
The improvisation of the work of design is great.
I want to congratulate you on a fantastic presentation. So the training must have gone very well. It's seamless. And also on identifying what is a very large environmental problem, the deconstruction of some of these older windmills. It's going to be the same for solar panels too coming up. People don't realize how much waste will be generated once they need to be redeployed with newer technology. So the creative idea you came up with looks at retroactive design problem. So you're trying to fix what wasn't fixed in the beginning. So if they had designed these blades to be reused, how much easier do you think your company would be to kick off? If the blades were designed so that they could be easily deconstructed and used for the kinds of structures you've envisioned.
Can you repeat the question?
How would it change your company that you're proposing if you weren't trying to design something that wasn't intended to be designed or used in a second life, but if the blades were designed to be used in a second life?
I would say our company wouldn't even have to exist, because what we're doing is taking something that's already an issue and trying to create it into a new solution. While if they're able to be reused, we don't have to do that. So that's kind of like what we're hoping happens for the company.
So that's a role for your future design instincts, right?
Wonderful presentation. Regional issues, very large, United States, Canada, where all these are. Did you do any study of how far you can ship these enormous blades, and then how you'd organize regionally to get bridges built? Because the embodied energy would be enormous to ship it all the way across the continent or something. So I think that's an issue that I wondered if you had.
So we only
pondered.
really looked at the state of Michigan in transportation for those. And so like I say train would probably be our best bet, unless we do like a barge system when the bridge is occurring over water, then maybe that would be a good viable solution.
I guess you answered it. 50 states, so maybe a state, and they could work with the government agencies. I think that sounds good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So on that note, it seems like it could be a project that could be replicated in other states depending on how it pans out, which is a really cool idea for expansion. So yeah, this was a really great idea. I like how you're taking you know, we always talk about making things, you know, biodegradable and like how do we get rid of them, but there's so many things that already exist that we also need to take care of. So coming at it from that perspective is really great. Do you know how many wind turbines would be used in the development of one of the bridges? Like an estimate of how many pieces and how much of that waste would you be taking care of?
So on a typical wind turbine, there's 3 blades, and so each blade is probably, I think I say 160 feet in length. So I would say depending on the size of the bridge or what you have to cross over, it's all kind of depending on just the size of it. I would say maybe on average, maybe 20 blades. And we reuse the poles so we can cut them down into like, because the poles are 200 feet high, we can cut them down into smaller pieces to use them as the support systems.
Cool. Thank you.
Great presentation. I think my question fell back on fiscal things. So did you do any research or determine how much it actually costs to deconstruct a wind turbine?
When we researched it, it said about $100,000, which is
Okay.
what we were hoping wind turbine companies would be willing to give us as part of our way of getting an income.
Exactly. So when I was writing my notes down, I was like, would you be going to the wind turbine company and offering them some kind of instead of being charged, say, the full price to recycle, that this would be an alternate or a better option for recycling, and then, you know, what would that fee be? And then, of course, you would be taking that on.
Yeah.
It's just like
Yeah.
recycling. My husband owns a roof coatings company, and they get materials in giant cans, giant barrels, and he actually, at the end of each season, they crush them and take them back to a steel company so that they can be recycled. But they actually pay him for that material. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Great job.
Thank you.
Fascinating presentation, tremendous work. Congratulations to you all. I'm interested in the kind of potential research you did into comparable case studies, because one of the challenges that came to mind for me would be the vast amount of code requirement, building code, municipal code that governs the construction of bridges. So many safety requirements, engineering requirements to take into account, as I'm sure you're well aware. So I'm curious, in your research, did you find any other case studies where, not of wind turbine waste necessarily, but of bridges being constructed of repurposed materials other than like custom forged steel?
We have. It's more like designs where like kind of out of the ordinary type of stuff. So I would say our project we're doing would fall under that. Since the bridges, yeah, they're going to look a little weird, but it's like also like other bridges but use that type of, like I would say, cool designs. They have to follow these certain parameters, and I'd say we would have to follow the same as they would.
Sure. And I'm just curious, too, about the malleability of the blades themselves. So it makes sense that you could cut the support poles down, but I'm just curious, in your research, did you find anything to support that you could also cut up the blades into smaller pieces in order to achieve some of your design goals?
So what we're trying to do is avoid cutting the blades, because when we cut the blades, the fiberglass particles go everywhere, and that can be dangerous to the people who are cutting them. So what we're trying to do is create this joint system where we connect the tips of the blades to each other, and hopefully that works. And we also have the pre-existing rebar in the blades. Well, hopefully those will be able to support the blades and also get connected to the structure.
Really, really cool. Well, it sounds like you would have a great time partnering with some engineers to figure out how to make this feasible. But again, congrats. Excellent work.
Thank you.
So thank you. You guys can grab a seat. And while they're taking a seat, the next team coming up is the team Smarter. They're going to look at an environmental footprint of the world of polyester clothing and how to recycle polyester clothing. Right? Am I doing this right? I wanted to mention Kyle and Martha for the big prize, the collegiate prize. They read all of the applications. They are the smart people. And what our big idea is that these high school students will get comfortable enough doing this little 2-week introduction to the world of wild and wicked problems that when they get to college, they'll be brave enough to do it in real life. and go for the big bucks, the $65,000 bucks. And so I just wanted you to know that when Kyle and Martha are asking you a question, they know all this stuff, right? So you want to talk to them afterwards. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Team Smarter.
We are Team Smarter. So that stands for secondary materials and recycled textiles except recycled. I'm Reese from Forest Hills Eastern.
I'm Lillian from Grand Rapids University Prep.
I'm Elliot from City High Middle School.
I'm Danny from Museum High School.
And I'm Zach from West Michigan Aviation.
Polyester is made from petroleum oil, which is slowly running out every year, even hourly. We go through millions of gallons of petroleum oil a day and only have about 30 years left of petroleum oil.
Now, polyester is made out of plastic, and plastic is not biodegradable, which means it will outlive us and always be in the landfill for a very long time.
Polyester can be very difficult to recycle because the fibers oftentimes are woven in with other fibers like cotton to create new kinds of fabrics, which can be difficult to separate in the recycling process.
The fast fashion industry serves only to create a mass amount of cheaply made clothes. It's very unsustainable, and oftentimes workers are not paid a livable wage. According to PRIG.org, 85% of textiles end up in landfills, and the average American throws away 81.5 pounds of clothes every year, according to Earth.org. Our team wanted to create a sustainable way to recycle polyester and other textiles that would otherwise end up in landfills across Michigan.
If we're making polyesters, we are making carbon emissions. It's the same way with gasoline and other plastic items, which is a problem because it kills our air quality. Making polyester makes 3 times as much carbon emissions than cotton, while it is also non-compostable, unlike cotton. So it is not the ideal material for clothes, fuel, environment, and recycling-wise.
The problem is that although there are existing programs that recycle textiles, they have flaws. For example, the company that works with Goodwill currently only recycles about 20% of the textiles that it gets. The others go into landfills here or are shipped overseas to hurt those local economies and go into landfills there. That's why we are focusing on recycling this polyester into something new.
Dar, Lori, and Dre all inspired us to start thinking about the waste of the textile fabrics and the dangers of fast fashion. Originally, our plan was to use the recycled fabrics to sell to other clothing companies, but we decided eventually that we should just be our own clothing company. We decided to use Goodwill as a clothes source because they have similar values as we do.
For our solution process, we would take clothes donated from sources like Goodwill and go through a sorting process and find all the 100% polyester clothing items. We would then remove items like buttons and zippers and take that 100% polyester, and we can turn that into brand new clothes made out of the recycled fabric, while the rest of the fabric, after being unbuttoned and unzippered, can then be shredded and turned into shoddy material, which can be used for a variety of purposes like insulation and mattresses. For the turning of the polyester into new clothes, first it would be put through a shredder to take the polyester and put it into smaller pieces, which then it can be poured into an extruder, which is a machine that can take that shredded polyester and melt it and spin it and press it down through a strainer to create new fibers and threads. Those threads and fibers are then woven using a round knit loom and into new fabric and sewn into brand new clothing.
our Smarter clothing line features unisex clothing, and since one of our focuses was our locality, our clothes are designed to meet the necessities of Michigan weather. Our clothing will be made from mostly fleeced, because fleece is made simply by brushing out the 100% polyester. And to reach our zero waste goal, we will use polyester fabric scraps as patches, elbow pads, and knee pads in our clothing. We wanted to keep our revenue simple as to further our focus on sustainability, so we are only focusing on designing jackets, vests, hoodies, crew necks, and pants. Because all of the clothing shipments comes in at different times, our clothes will result in different colors, and we cannot ensure any colorful fabrics. So the mixed color will be marketed as part of our brand and marketed as sustainability.
So here is our business model. We plan to operate as a pending B corporation. This is for small businesses or startups that want to be on their way to becoming a full B corporation. We will then make and process fabrics in-house and rent trucks for shipping. We will have multiple sources of income, so that comes as our outdoor wear line as well as the shoddy material. Our customers will be Michigan residents for any of the outdoor wear and local businesses and shipping companies that need that material for padding, insulation, and stuff like that. We plan to partner with Goodwill and other local thrift stores as their values align with ours, and we can take their old textiles. Habitat for Humanity for potentially using that shoddy material as insulation, and other local businesses that require the material.
Our startup money looks like this chart provided. I collected all the prices of our warehouse, which is located in Muskegon, Michigan, the prices of our machines, miscellaneous prices we need for thread, patches, zippers, etc., along with the full amount it would cost to pay our workers for a full year. We would have a minimum of 21 workers who would be being paid $17 an hour, 40 hours a week, as you can see in the chart provided. This would add up to about $1.2 million. After our first year expenses, our finances would look like this chart provided. We would need to pay property taxes, which in Muskegon is 1.48% of property's value. We would also be paying our workers the same amount as the chart provided in the previous slide. This would add up to about $750,000 a year.
There are, however, some potential problems that come along with our solution. Firstly, whenever you wash polyester, microplastics are released. Whether or not the fabric is recycled, it happens regardless. Recently, a team of researchers at the University of Toronto have developed a 2-layer nanoscopic silicone coating material that significantly lessens the release of microplastics while washing garments. However, this solution is still in the testing phase, and while we do not currently have access to it, it will be on our horizons. We also spoke to Nick Carlson, who is the business development director at the Muskegon Goodwill, nearby where we are planning on having our research facility. Although through the research that he had previously conducted on recycling polyester, we learned that the only toxin that is released during the washing process is acetone. Since it is released during the washing process, trace amounts would end up coming into our local waterways. However, the amount is so small that it would have little to no effect on marine life. Thirdly, recycled polyester loses quality after about 3 bouts of mechanical recycling, which is when materials are reclaimed through mechanical processes like shredding and grinding, as in our case it is. One solution to this problem is recycling chemically, and in the case of recycling polyester, recycling chemically would mean that it would break down at a molecular level and form new fibers. This would be a viable alternative that we could use indefinitely in the solution. However, the technology for this is expensive and complicated, so because our business is just starting up, we wanted to recycle mechanically. And lastly, the issue of our expensive startup costs is very problematic because as of now, we have no set plan as to where these funds will come from.
However, although there are problems, our solution has a potential huge positive impact. So for a financial impact, the textiles stay here and support the local economy instead of going overseas where they would put local clothing producers out of business and create an abundance of waste for other countries. Our solution additionally uses low-cost materials and adheres to UN Sustainable Development Goal 8, which promotes decent work and economic growth. Additionally, our solution aligns with the values of our partners, such as Goodwill, who is highly interested in looking to find a way to recycle materials. It promotes the local economy and pays workers a fair living wage as well. It has a huge potential positive environmental impact, so it keeps textiles out of landfill and gives them prolonged life, while also creating durable clothing that can be worn for long periods of time. It recycles blended fabrics to make the shoddy material as well, and prevents excess carbon emissions required from producing new polyester. It adheres to United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 12, which is responsible consumption and production. Our solution overall promotes a circular system where we collect clothing from Goodwill, make new outdoor wear, which is then donated to Goodwill or taken back by our company, all to be bought or recycled again.
What you can do to help the cause is you can purchase long-lasting and high-end clothing that lasts a long time, and purchase from sustainable brands like Patagonia, Allbirds, and Pact. It also helps to buy less clothing and just to buy organic materials overall.
Thank you. Any questions?
I'll let you guys take it away.
Well, I'll start off. Well, nice presentation. I've been judging on the college Wege Prize for a number of years, and both of the presentations so far could easily be one of the entrants. Now, there are some of the applicants are a lot worse. I have to say that.
High compliment.
Well, the really big question I have for you guys, I'd be interested in your take on this, is why isn't this being done already?
I feel like one of the main reasons is that no one is really willing to be the start of that. Everyone would be like, yeah, if someone else starts this, we would be glad to go along and support it, but no one really wants to get in and go through the process of starting the whole program. I mean, also it's expensive.
Reese has an answer.
Also, a lot of the stuff right now, bigger companies are looking to do the chemical recycling, which is still kind of in the innovation phase. So, it's not getting like publicized or, done in such a huge scale yet.
Rock, paper, scissors.
One more follow-up, and then I'll turn it over. I'm glad that you focused on the climate issues and the microplastics. I mean, it sounds like you've done some research on the microplastics, because research, and this is more for the audience than for the team, but the research suggests that every one of us, all throughout the world, ingest the weight of a credit card every week in microplastics. So this is something that has to be dealt with, and your solution is a great approach to that.
Yeah, we appreciate the call to action. Thank you for that.
Great presentation. Nice equity in the presentation as well, and in the responses. My question is about the front end of this. So you're proposing to recycle materials that are 100% polyester that are being donated through your partner Goodwill. Have you thought about or had any concerns about the processes and the original manufacturing processes around dyes and finishes and what else might be on those pieces that you're recycling?
So right now, Goodwill goes through 3 phases of sale. They sell on their market. They like in store they sell. They also sell in the bins where you can get like a pound of clothes for I think around $1. And then the third is that it goes directly to, they sell it to businesses like ours who want to try to keep it out of landfills. And for your question, a lot of the shoddy material, which again is used in car insulation, it's used in mattresses, it's also used in insulation in houses and building. If there's something kind of questionable about the material too, then it can always be used for shoddy material.
Thank you.
Great presentation. I knew it would be one Tuesday when I saw you. Have you researched how much competition you're going to have for that material if other people get the idea. And so it could be a showstopper if you don't have enough to justify building a plant and an extruder and all of that. So tell me about that evolution of that acquisition.
So we know from talking with Nick from Goodwill, we know that they are partnering or at least supporting other groups and projects that are trying to do similar things. And I feel like it's less about the competition and more about like the more people who are doing this and engaging in trying to stop the waste of polyester and materials like this, the better. So I guess we're not really all that worried about it because more the merrier.
Yes, but you have capital investment in an extruder and building and all that. So, I mean, there is the issue of viability, profit, and such. So, I mean, keep it in mind. But great presentation. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yes, I agree. Great presentation. And I can certainly see this being part of the larger Wege Prize. And I think all three presentations we'll see today. So that's very exciting for me. And this might just be something that I don't know, but does this mechanical process of fabric shredding and turning into other materials exist in another way that's not with this sustainable outcome like you all are looking at? Or have you developed a new system?
I feel like, this system isn't new, and we've kind of borrowed bits and pieces from different systems of recycling. Like, for instance, the use of like the extruder and the shredder. Those we have found from doing research about how like plastic water bottles can be like recycled into new clothing. And me and Elliot actually were researching it. And that's where we got the idea for the use of the extruder, because originally we had planned on finding a way to do chemical recycling. But I feel like the idea itself is recycled.
Right. I like that.
That was very clever. Very good. I don't have a question, maybe just an observation that in creating your company and then your brand, you're going from fast fashion to slow fashion. And most likely it would be niche and highly appealing for those who are really about recycling, keeping stuff out of the landfill, taking care of Mother Earth. So I just think it's a great idea.
Thank you.
I have an observation and a question, but I'll preface both by saying it is immediately apparent the depth of research that you all engaged in, and I really want to commend you for taking a very high-level view of this problem and trying to understand all of the different systems and areas of our world that are impacted by it. So congratulations on that. That's a very difficult thing to do. And when we talk about the circular economy, especially in the context of Wege Prize, we talk a lot about loops, right? You probably heard a lot about that from Colin. And closing the loop and making it tight, which means that there's little to no room for those materials to slip out and stop being recircled at their highest utility and value at all times. So I just want to encourage you to focus a little more on the idea of loops with your system, especially as it pertains to that shoddy material. Let's look out and think, what's going to happen to that material when whomever repurposes it, when that mattress, when that insulation, when that house gets demolished? Where's that material going to go at that point? We're still kind of at the cliff of the linear progression at that point. So that's not a problem unique to your system. That's a problem with any circular system, but just encouraging you to think more about that. And two, I'm really interested in the branding element of this. I love that you're leaning into multicolored clothes and not trying to hide from that, but actually making it a pillar of your brand. And I love, too, that you're looking to companies like Patagonia that have made this sort of use it to the fullest extent, return it to us kind of business model as a cornerstone of their brand. So with something like that, there has to be some kind of incentive for the user to actually participate, right? Your solution is relying on them to behave in a certain way. So I'm curious, what thought did you put into how you might incentivize your customers, the people who buy your clothes, to participate in the system you're designing?
So Gail talked a little bit about this with us this morning, actually. But with these programs, there's the Eileen Fisher one where you can take these old clothes back that are worn out or too small, and they will like recycle them and use them for used wear, and you can get a discounted purchase on your next trip. So we're thinking about doing something like that in the future.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much. Bravo. So we have one more team, and while the Slumber Squad rolls up here, right at my nap time too, I'm just going to say, I happen to know, I just feel, I sense that there are college students listening in, or maybe even in the room, and I happen to have read that Martha is going to do a thing or three soon about getting us ready for the next Wege Prize 2024. Want to speak about that while this next crew is coming up here? Picture thing. August 11 is the next one I know about. While you guys get settled in, she's going to do a little advertisement. She didn't know she was going to do that. Thank you.
Is this one up? Okay. Yeah, so Wege Prize 2024 opens on Monday. It's a little earlier this year. It opens on Monday, closes October 8th. So really the premise is college students all around the world, any major, any degree program, build a team of 5 students in preferably multiple majors, and identify a wicked problem, as these high school students have done here, and develop a circular economy-based solution. And there are multiple phases that go through multiple phases of judging. Bill and Tom are 2 of our core judges for the prize, so they've probably, read more in depth all of the applications that I go through that make it past the preliminary stage. And then in May, the 5 finalist teams present here, literally right here. We just did it this past May. Their final solutions and compete for a portion of our total prize pool, which is $65,000. So it's a really awesome opportunity to collaborate with students in other schools. You're seeing the high school version right now in a 2-week period. So imagine what at the collegiate level over the course of 7 months can produce. So it's really exciting. So yeah.
You can't win if you don't play. So I'll give a better introduction to this team. This team is called the Slumber Squad, and they're going to give you some insights on the waste produced from old mattresses. Thank you very much.
Alrighty, hello everyone. We are Team Slumber Squad. My name is Natasha, and I'm going to be a senior at the Museum High School.
My name is Abby Middleton. I'm going to be a junior at Byron Center.
My name is Gavin Odell. I'm from New Jersey, and I'm going to be a junior at County Prep High School.
I'm Michael Dugan. I'm going to be a junior at the West Michigan Aviation Academy.
I'm Caden Fuller, and I will be a senior at East Kentwood. According to the Mattress Recycling Council, over 20 million mattresses end up in the landfill every year. Why is that, you may ask? Well, let's dig a little deeper into the journey of a mattress. This is a short summary of a mattress journey. It starts off with getting the materials that you need to make a mattress. Then it goes into the production, taking the materials and turning them into a finalized mattress. Then the finalized mattresses will go off to the stores and straight to the customer. Then the mattresses will be used for 7 to 12 years until it reaches the end of life and finally discarded by the landfill.
What's the issue? The issue is most people aren't aware that the typical mattress is poorly designed because it is created to not be easily broken down and recycled. If breaking apart is too costly or time-consuming, recycling companies will often resort to dropping them off at landfills. According to the Mattress Recycling Council, 50,000 mattresses are discarded to landfills every day. The sad part is that at least 75% of current mattresses are actually recyclable. Because most mattresses have 7 layers of non-renewable materials, it makes recycling them difficult. The biggest issue with depositing the mattresses in the landfills is that they're large and heavy. Since the mattress takes up a lot of space and the breakdown process takes over 100 years, it is one of our biggest wastes of space. The Bay Area Recycling Center for Community has recycled enough mattresses to fill a football field 15 yards high. The materials in mattresses are not easily decomposed. Many mattresses are made with polyfoam, which is a flammable material made from petroleum and is a non-renewable material. Because it takes at least a century to decompose, it continuously emits unsafe chemicals into the environment.
This is why our team would like to propose May Slumber. May Slumber is a mattress company that works with recycling companies, farmers, and textile makers to develop a circular and renewable system for mattresses. Our solution can be broken down into 3 parts: working with used mattresses, redesigning the standard mattress, and working with our mattresses at their end of life.
The first step of our solution is starting off with taking in old mattresses. So here we're taking a look as to what mattress recycling currently looks like in Kent County in the state of Michigan. As for Kent County, we do not have any mattress recycling services, but as a state, we do have a mattress recycling facility located in the city of Caliva, which is a part of the Bay Area Recycling Facility. We weren't able to find exactly what their mattress recycling process is, but we do know for sure that they do recycle them. So where does May Slumber come in? Our plan is to invest a percentage of the profits that we make from our mattresses into recycling facilities across the state to provide them with the resources that are needed to implement mattress recycling at their facilities and keeping mattresses out of our landfills. To fill in possible financial gaps, we hope to partner with state and national organizations that are focused in recycling initiatives as well as working with the state government to support us.
Next, we have mattress redesign.
Our materials are corn fiber fabric and natural latex. They're both renewable in comparison to what other brands are doing the past and even in the present.
But more excitingly is that the corn fiber product removed from the mattress can be reused into many products, such as apparel, home textiles, industrial applications, and/or the medical field. Natural latex mattresses begin in the form of sap taken from a rubber tree. Through a manufacturing process, sap becomes an organic latex product. It can be in the form of Dunlop or Tilley. Dunlop latex mattresses are the most biodegradable and safe for the environment and won't create sinkholes in a landfill. And Tilley is natural and softer.
Now, I'm pretty sure all of you are familiar with the Baby Bell cheese or the Laughing Cow cheese. Now, what both of these products have in common is that you have to pull a string or strap around these cheeses to open them up, and it's covered by the top and bottom layer. So our team got inspired by this product to put that strap into our mattress design. Our mattress design will be using little materials, so it'll be easier to package, assemble, disassemble, and will both be easier to the recycling industry, so it won't take up so much landfill.
For our third and final part of our solution, we have what happens at the end of life for our mattress. One of the main aspects of our solution is integrating a take-back program into our business where we would lease mattresses to customers, and when those mattresses meet their end of life, they can be returned back to us where we will recycle them. We would also like to make mattresses on a made-to-order basis. All the materials will be available and ready to be assembled in our mattress facility.
So this is what the reimagined journey of a mattress would look like. So here we don't see the landfill as one of our major steps, but we do acknowledge that it may be necessary for components like used mattress coverings that are far too gone to be repurposed or properly recycled. But outside of that, a vast majority of the materials are still in the loop to be used in another mattress or to be repurposed into other products.
We will be addressing two goals here. We have the third and 12th goal. For the third one, our mattress will want to provide you with a good sleep. And with a good sleep, it can help improve your immune system, increase your focus throughout the day, and it can even decrease serious health problems you may have. For the 12th problem, we will use sustainable materials to reduce chemical use. It is also energy efficient, minimal waste generations, and consumer awareness. To sum things up, when we're addressed with this problem, our team strive to fix this wicked problem by trying to figure out a way so we won't take up so much landfill and could both be good for the environment and the recyclable industry by making these mattresses so you could assemble and disassemble while all using biodegradable materials. And the call of action all of you can make is before purchasing a mattress, do some research on it, look into it to see where it goes afterwards, or if it's even good for the environment. Or you could go to your local landfill by Bay Area and disassemble the mattresses yourself if you're willing to do so.
Thank you. Any questions?
So I happen to know that there's people on this panel that are looking for mattresses, so you better be ready to give some advice.
I have a question on the first part of your presentation. I think you said you were going to take back existing mattresses, which aren't very well thought out, and attempt to recycle them or recycle them. But then you, of course, subsequently said you were going to have that cool zipper idea and produce really recyclable ones. Are you really biting off both, or are you going to work on the new idea, or both?
I think our solution really starts off with our redesigned mattresses because when we are, the phase in which we are taking in old mattresses not from our company, that has to be funded by the funds from our profits from our mattresses. So we think that starting off with our mattress design and working from there is our idea.
I think that's a good idea.
I'm the one looking for a new mattress. Eventually. I was recently looking into how to dispose of my current mattress and was actually very surprised that there weren't more options in Michigan to do so, especially given the other things that you can recycle here. So I don't necessarily have a question other than if you have mattress recommendations, but I was super excited to hear that you're doing this presentation today because it was literally a week ago that I was trying to do this research. So thank you for bringing it to light, and I wish I could recycle mine a little closer. But have you looked into brands and have kind of other models out there that you're getting inspiration from for your own?
When we were researching for the corn mattress, we found the avocado mattress brand, which seems to be the closest thing to be a biodegradable, recyclable mattress on the market.
Thank you.
Another great presentation. I guess if nothing else, you got us all thinking about 20 million mattresses in landfills. And this gentleman sitting next to me went, it's pretty bad. I bought a purple. But I didn't do the research, and I probably should have. We actually, I think, shared our mattress with somebody else. The old mattress went on. But this is a huge problem. Yeah.
I want to point out for the audience primarily, but I really enjoyed the aspect of your model in which you are, two things actually. One, you're recognizing in partnering with the agricultural sector, the importance of keeping soil impact and soil health in mind as you develop that model. I noticed you mentioned avoiding monoculture and the negative impacts of that. So kudos to you for, again, looking beyond your tunnel vision and at the problem from a broader perspective. Yeah. And I think the other aspect that was really interesting to me to see echoed from what we talk about a lot with the Core Prize is where are there opportunities in our future to rethink the concept of ownership? So what you're proposing is taking what has traditionally been a product and making it a service model. So you're not buying a mattress, you're buying the service of having a mattress that is maintained, stewarded, and ultimately recycled by a company, which is a pretty radically new thing. And if we imagine taking the same model with a television or with a computer or with a washing machine. Pretty exciting stuff in terms of the possibilities to reduce the sheer volume of these things that are out there, as Elisa pointed out. My question for you is, I'm just really interested in the zipper strap. Like, how might you envision that working from like a attachment? Would it be adhesive? Would it be how would that actually mechanically work to the extent you've thought it out thus far?
So the strap was really just a concept we had in mind. You could just pull apart from across the mattress in the middle, since it will be easier instead of putting on top and you have to dig out like the foam or the fiber on top. But like another idea we also had in mind was Velcro. So you'll be able to actually put that back together too. But yeah, the strap that we took inspiration from the Baby Bell cheese was actually just a concept, and we're still doing research on that, on how we could be able to contain that strap and we'll be able to close it back in.
I think it's a fascinating idea, and I was here yesterday when you were all visited by 2 kcad alumni who are working in a very similar space with high-end luxury furniture chairs, but their product, very simple to take apart, looked extremely elegant, very simple, so kudos to you for being in that space as well, and congrats on a great presentation.
So I have a question on the statistic on the number of mattresses that are in the landfill, and if all of those are coming from private residences, or if your business model looked at the hospitality industry or institutional mattress. Like, there are a lot of mattresses that exist outside of our homes. Because maybe you want to talk to a major hospitality industry who would embrace this as part of their identity.
The 2 kcad alumni that were here yesterday were talking about how their furniture was first included in these hotels, and maybe that was an opportunity that we could look into too. And even they said that they had the furniture in the hotels, and after your stay, you were able to purchase those if you liked them.
Nice. I have another question. Let's see if I can. So you answered my question that I was thinking of when the questions or the responses started down there about the corn fiber being biodegradable, because you talked about all the ways that it could be repurposed, but it's also biodegradable. And then here's my next icky question. Bed bugs.
Oh, yeah. They have an answer.
I think the way that some mattresses that are being recycled now, the standard mattresses, they're being getting rid of bed bugs and bodily fluids by putting them under extreme heat to kill anything that's in there. And I think that is an opportunity that we could look into.
Okay.
Great. I don't know. Yeah, that's great presentation, guys. Just one final question, more rhetorical, but please feel free to respond. Why aren't all mattress companies implementing your ideas?
Well, first, I think of it kind of as a way as everyone, when we proposed our idea, everyone told us how difficult this idea was. So we wanted to take on the challenge, because we're all want to take on the challenge. And I think our company is most important because we're really looking into corn, and our product is different from others because we've looked it up and done the research, and not really any companies have discovered or figured out any way to put corn into mattresses. So I think that our mattress is very important and different from others.
So to kind of add on, another thing is convenience. A lot of these mattress companies don't have to deal with the mattresses after they're purchased by the consumer, so it's not their responsibility anymore. So if that's an option for a lot of these companies, they're not going to want to have to deal with that. So.
Bingo. That's the thing. Bravo. Let's give everybody another round of applause, all of y'all. So you know I had the most fun. I didn't have to work that hard. They continue to surprise and delight me, and the good news is you're not done. You can take all this great learning and hold on to that and do it again when you're in college in a hot second. The next thing we get to do is share some certificates. Tara's going to help me. I keep getting too close to that speaker, my fault. Let's bring the slumber squad back up. Yay!
I'll just hand it.
Yeah, you just roll them up, and I'm going to try to. So, Michael Dugan, ta-da! Your hands are cold, like you're nervous. All the way from New Jersey, Gavin O'Dell. And Abby Middleton, yay! See what I do this from memory.
Thank you.
My fellow EKHS Falcon, skating. And Natasha back again from the Museum High School. Thank you. Good job, people. So glad to have you. All right, we're going to switch up and bring the Barbies plus Ken up. So you can go whichever way you want to go. Let's see. I'm going to hold on to this one. All right. Kyan, Ko. And Kyan, I'm not going to get all the schools right. You know that, right? Go that way.
Oh, okay.
And Jazzy, Dana.
Thank you.
And Mindy Wynn. I worry about the names all the time. It keeps me up at night. Okay, I'm going to do this. Muskin, Rakani. Yay. And Rael Allen. Rael.
Congratulations.
Such a good job. I had an extra one. That was for you. All right. Bravo, bravo, bravo. And the smarter team. They're super, yeah, smarter, sort of. All right. Danny Ferret. And Lillian Timorsky. Oops, I'm going to make that. And back again, she likes it so much before, Reese Bauer. Elliot Redwine. And Zach Johnson. I also wanted to say that we slowed down some fast fashion too, and I want to thank my colleagues at KCAD because the shirts that have the Wege Prize High School on them, we got those from Goodwill, and then our faculty from our printmaking program helped us screen print our own shirts. So they had a chance to do some screen printing here. So that's part of our show. Well done. That concludes our presentation. We're going to take a quick break and do a flip. The students are going to do some interviews, one team at a time. The rest of you are going to enjoy, in a hot second, some refreshments and explore their exhibition here and our exhibition up there, and take a stretch. Thank you very much.